Guys. All right, so welcome to week 3. Let me just turn off my music so we can start the session. Okay, so I'm actually filming from a different location today. I just wanted to try different things. So, if there's any issue or anything with the connection or anything, just let me know, because on my end YouTube is telling me that everything is fine. Okay, so I'm just trying to get this to be perfect, because when setting things up it looks one way, but then when you're live it looks another way. Okay, actually let me bring this down a little bit. Okay, so welcome to week 3, which happens to be day 22 of the moisture retention moisture retention challenge. So 30 days moisture retention challenge. And so for those that are coming in, you know who you are and where you're watching me from. And also, when you come on here, I need you to do the same things you've always done, which is to share this video out on your Facebook profile so your friends can also come on here and learn what you're about to learn today, because this is really natural, really important. Why am I getting my words confused today? Oh, okay. Hi. So I know this lovely Mitiel is on here watching live from Florida. Awesome. Welcome and thank you for joining me live once more. Okay, so love Mitiel, and for anybody that's gonna be watching this live or on the replay, so I just need you to do one thing for me. So just click on the share button below this video and share this video out on your Facebook profile. So I'm also gonna be doing the same thing right now. So let's take about 10 seconds to share this video out to our friends on Facebook so they can come on here and join us. Hi Catherine, and if you also have Twitter as well, you can do the same thing. So I'm just gonna quickly go on my channel here on my computer so I can share this video out to the audience on my Facebook group. So let me just do that real quickly. So you're just gonna, for me, I'm watching this via well, I'm doing this on my cell phone, but I'm sharing it on my laptop, so that way I can quickly share this out, and you can just, you know, click on the share button below your below the video so you can share it out. So I'm just gonna type, you know, hey guys, I'm going live, and just come on here and join. Okay, so today's session will be, I'm hoping it'll be less than 30 minutes, because I don't want to make it too long. And actually guys, let me know if you can see me well, because I don't know what's wrong with this stand. It's kind of too close. It's not really showing my full body. Anyway, let's just continue. So based on the thumbnail and the emails and the title of this video, so who can guess what we're talking about today, right? So we're talking about breakage and shedding, and I'm actually going to be focusing more on the breakage side, because that's the main topic that a lot of you ladies have shared with me. So a lot of you have told me that, you know, you have consistent breakage, and how can you reduce breakage, how can you stop breakage. So one misinformation, one thing that I want to get straight is that you cannot stop breakage. So repeat after me, and for those watching me live right now, so just type in the comment section, repeat after me: I cannot stop or end breakage. But what you can do, however, is to minimize breakage, right? You can minimize breakage. So I'm just looking at my agenda so I can actually keep on track. So now, what is breakage and how does it differ from shedding, right? So shedding, like for example, when we talk about shedding, we talk about so for example, like if you have a dog or a cat, right, you'll notice that they shed a lot, right? Meaning that they have fur coming out of their skin naturally on its own, right, without the dog or the cat doing anything, right? So it happens the same way with our hair as well, right? So over time, our hair will just, fall off on its own, and it's a natural phase of our hair growth cycle, right? Because new hair growth has to come out, and in order for it to be able to do that, the old hair has to come out, right? Or another analogy is, so for those who live in a in like the northern hemisphere, right, where we have 4 seasons. So I know, lovely Meteor, you probably never experienced fall, or maybe some of your trees might maybe go through fall, because Florida, you guys, it's the sunshine state, right? But for those up from Canada, Germany, Russia, China, and those places, they probably, they experience fall every single year. And so during the fall season, the leaves come out of the tree, right? And it's just a natural phase of, that particular time of the year, right? So there's nothing you can do about it to, to prevent the leaves from your tree from falling off, right? It has to fall off, right? So so that's pretty much shedding, and that's why, again, you cannot stop shedding, but again, you can also minimize shedding based on, your hair routine and your health as well, right? So now, what are the differences between breakage and shedding, right? So so I have like 2 chunks of hair in front of me, and I'm gonna go over that later on, right? So I'm just gonna maybe grab one string of hair, but um, it might be a little bit hard to see, right? So actually, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use my post-it notes, because I think that's easier to see, right? So just let me know if you can see this post-it note properly, right? So I'm just gonna draw, let's say this is our scalp, right? This is our scalp, and then we have the tiny follicles, right? So those dots are the tiny follicles. Hi Bia, thank you for coming and joining us live. So those dots are the follicles, right? So guys, let me know if you can actually you can actually see this properly, right? And so our hair will grow, right? Right, so that's our hair, that's the follicles, and this is our scalp, right? So now, what is the difference between shedding and breakage, right? So shedding will be when this hair, for example, comes off, right? So we have this hair, right, comes off, and then let's say this hair, it comes off, right? But breakage, right? Breakage is when obviously your hair breaks off, right? So breakage can happen here, it can happen here, it can happen here even, right? Because sometimes some ladies will go, oh, well, I just saw this, tiny ringlet of hair, right? So that's breakage. But I saw long strand of hair, so that's shedding, right? But sometimes breakage can happen really close to your scalp, or sometimes further away from it. So the length of the hair really does not matter, right? And sometimes, so it's like, okay, how do I tell the difference between breakage and shedding, right? So breakage, like I said, like it'll be a bit jagged here and a bit jagged here as well, right? Meaning the ends are not smooth, right? But shedding, right? So ladies, let me know if you can actually see my posting up properly. So shedding, when your hair sheds off, a lot of times it'll shed off with like the fat, right, and the follicle, right? So, and it's mainly called the hair bulb, right? Hair bulb, right? So when this piece of hair comes off, right? Oh, great! I'm glad you can see, Catherine. So when this piece of hair comes off, right, it'll pull off some of this the fat that's in this follicle, right, which is called the sebum, right? So when the hair comes off, right, you're gonna see like a tiny bulb, right? You're gonna see that tiny bulb there, right? And it's mainly the fat or the sebum in that follicle, right? So it's almost like, for example, right, like you grew vegetables, right? Like let's say rosemary or thyme or whatever, and then you uproot, right? You uproot the what do you call it? The thyme or the rosemary from the roots, right? What's gonna happen? Obviously, you're gonna have some dirt on the roots of that plant, right? So it's pretty much the same thing with shedding, right? So when you hear shed, right, you're gonna have some of the root come off as well, right? So that's pretty much the difference between shedding and breakage. So just let me know if I was clear or maybe a little bit too complex, because I don't think I've ever seen anybody explaining in that method before, right? So now, so a few months back, I posted a picture of my hair loss. So this is actually my hair loss from January and February, and this is actually a little bit, well, around maybe 15 10% more than what I would usually lose. But this is hair loss for 2 months, right? So one thing I need you ladies to do is to actually keep track of the amount of hair that you lose every month. So I've been doing this thing now since maybe 2016, so about 2 years now. So, and I actually have like a huge bag of like my hair in the past 2 years or so, right? So usually like when I'm washing my hair, styling it, detangling or whatever hair that comes off, I usually gather them together, and then I would save them, right? And then I will save them in their individual Ziploc bag, right? So that way you can actually keep track of your hair loss, right? So usually, like I always keep everything together. So the breakage and the shedding, I always keep everything together so I can sort of track and see, okay, this month I lost way too much hair, so this following month I have to make sure that I do things differently so I don't lose too much hair, right? And usually, like let's say I lost much more hair than usual, right? So usually like in each bag, right, I would actually label each bag, right? So I usually keep them, month by month, right? So in each bag, this bag for example, like I put January and February 2018 because I've been doing this for about 2 years now. Hopefully you guys can see. So I just wrote January and February 2018, and I wrote down, what I did, right? So I said I braided my hair for 7 weeks, and I also washed it like 4 times, right? So I know the next time I do braids, keep it in for less than 7 weeks and wash it less, right? Because when you wash your hair too much, or when you wet your hair too much, when it's in braids, it can cause more breakage, right? So so Catherine, it's a good method because it's almost like, like let's say you're trying to save money, or you're taking like a financial management course, right? Because you think, oh, like I make $2,000 per month, but I can really save $200 per month and whatever. Like I don't know where my money goes, right? But then when you actually sit down and you keep track of how much money you're spending on a daily basis, like, $1 here, $5 or $200 here, $1,000 here, and you notice that, oh my gosh, like, okay, this is where my money goes on a daily basis, and maybe I should cut these things out, right? So it works the same way as well with your hair as well. Because sometimes you think, oh, I lost too much hair. Sometimes you think, oh, I actually didn't lose that much hair. But when you put everything together, you can actually see that, oh, actually, you know what? This month, let me do things differently so I can actually see a different result. So I've been doing this now for about, for over 2 years now, right? So yeah, so this is my hair loss for 2 months, right? And another thing to also, so this is for January and February, and this is for March so far, right? This is for March so far. So you can compare, so 2 months of hair loss and about 3 weeks of hair loss, right? And also my hair actually needs trimming as well, because it's been about 3 months and my hair needs to be trimmed every 3 months, which unfortunately reduces my length retention, but that's just the texture that I have. So 3 months so far, and this is for 2 months. So by the end of April, I'm gonna compare what I lost March and April compared to what I lost in January and March, and see as well, right? So When it comes to breakage and shedding, right? Because sometimes, so like I said, I posted a picture on my Facebook group and somebody said, oh, that's way too much hair loss and whatever, right? And I'm like, oh, I actually that's actually my hair loss for 10 weeks because I left my braids in for 10 weeks, which most times I don't do, but I was just too lazy to take it down and it was kind of cold. So I was okay, this is 10 weeks worth of hair loss because they say that we lose about 100 to 150 hair every month, every day, but I don't believe that. I think that might be for Indians or Chinese, right? Because I don't think, for me personally, I don't think I lost that much hair on a daily basis because if we multiply, let's say 100, right? So they say 100 to like 150, right, or 75 to 150, depending on, because if you have high density hair, you're gonna lose more. You have low density hair, you're gonna lose less, right? So if I multiply 100 by 30, right, that's about 3,000, right? Yeah, so it's about 3,000 strands of hair. Anyway, hi Miss Blue, thank you for joining in and thank you for the compliment. But anyway, that's what they say, right? So that's the amount of hair that they say that we lose. I don't think that's true because I think that's a little bit excessive. Particularly for me, I don't think I lose about 100 to 150 hair strands because I twisted my hair this morning and I just went through each chunk of hair and I just tried to remove some shedding, and some breakage also came up as well. And I'm pretty sure if I actually took my time to count that, the hair that came off when I physically pulled it with my fingers, I don't even think it was up to 55. I don't think it was up to 55, but anyway, that's what they say. So if you have high density hair, meaning you have a lot of hair like on your scalp, right, or you have thick coarse hair, right, and if it's also long, right, you're gonna lose more hair, or when you put your hair loss together, right, it'll look way more than somebody with fine hair, low density hair, or even a shorter hair length, right? Because for example, if you have a small afro or you have a TWA, and then in 1 month you lose this much hair, then we know, okay, we have, like Houston, we have a problem, right? Or let's say you have a small afro, and then in like every month you lose this much hair, then again, Houston, we have a problem, right? So when it comes to hair loss, shedding, breakage, or whatever, right? So it's like you have to look at, okay, how much hair do I have on my head, right? Because the more hair follicles you have, the more hair you have on your head, then the more hair loss you're gonna have, right? Also, if your hair is long, right? So for example, right? So let me just draw another analogy, right? So if your hair is long, right? Okay, let me know. So if your hair is long versus if you have this length of hair, right? So let's say this one came up through shedding, this one came up through shedding, right? And then when they coil up, when this coils up and when this coils up, so let's say you lost about 20 of these and 20 of that, right? So when somebody with this length of hair, put their hair together and it all coils up, versus somebody who has this, right? So this, maybe when they put it together, it might look something like this, right? 20 hair shedded hair, right? And this might look something like this, right? And so somebody with this hairlines cannot tell somebody with this hairline that, oh, you lost too much hair, you have to watch what you're doing, because obviously, like I have longer hair length, right? So when I put everything together like in a bunch like I have, right, it's gonna look way more than somebody with a shorter hair length, right? So again, you have to look at, okay, what is my hair length, what is the thickness of my hair, right? Because some hair strands are quite thick, right? And also, how much hair do I have on my head, right? So that's when you're gonna know, okay, so is this normal or not, right? And the only way you can track if the amount of hair loss you have on a monthly basis is normal or not is by simply keeping track of your hair losses every single month, right? For at least a period of 1 year, right? And you're gonna put them in a bag, right? So if during 1 month you lost way more hair than usual, then you know that, okay, maybe it's something that has to do with my hair, my health, my environment, what I'm eating, my stress level, my my regimen or my products, right? Because there are several reasons why sometimes we experience more breakage or more shedding than other people, right? So what else do I want to talk about? Yeah, so that's about it for shedding. And shedding, usually you can only treat shedding from the inside, right? Because remember I said that shedding, that's when the hair physically comes out from the roots, right? Physically comes out from the roots, right? So meaning it doesn't matter how many products you put in your hair, there's nothing you can do to minimize shedding, right? So it's something you would have to treat from the inside. So if you're more stressed, if you're taking some sort of a medication, if you change your diet, or maybe your environment even. And also one thing to note is that the season can also affect shedding as well, right? Because in the winter time our body hibernates, right? So that's why in the winter time we tend to gain more weight. So like if you're watching this from like a tropical region, because I used to live in Canada, and so usually in the winter time I feel more depressed, right? Which is, I mean, it's very common. It's called SAD, so seasonal affective disorder. So that's when your mood goes down, your body mechanism goes down, and growth reduces, right? So meaning, you might have less shedding in the winter time because obviously your hair isn't producing as much as it used to, right? And but so when it comes to breakage, however, breakage has to do with you, right? So if you have more breakage, it's your fault, right? Shedding, I mean, that that could be your health or whatnot, something that you can control or not control. But breakage mainly has to do with you, right? So sometimes it's your fault, sometimes it can be the fault of your environment or your water or the product, right? But mainly breakage is your fault, right? So for me, this morning I was twisting my hair and I noticed, whoa, I have more breakage, and the reason for that is because I need to trim my hair, because it's been 3 months since I trimmed my hair, right? So I knew, okay, this is my fault, right? So in terms of minimizing breakage, sometimes the products we use can dry our hair out, right? And when that happens, our hair will just snap on its own. Sometimes it has to do with the style that we're doing. So for example, like I said, when you braid your hair and you're always whiten it every single day because your hair needs moisture, what's going to happen is when it's time for you to take the braids down, you're going to end up with more breakage because now your hair has gotten intertwined with the braids, and there's nothing you can do but to comb it off or to just trim it off, right? Or sometimes we're just doing too much stuff to our hair, so every single night we're always twisting or whatever. And if you have combination hair like I have, which is a mixture of coarse hair and fine hair, then sometimes breakage is bound to happen. And sometimes we have more breakage because we're just not maintaining a regular trimming schedule, right? Because what happens is that the ends of our hair, right, they're not as healthy as the roots, right? So they will break off more easily, right? Because they are old, right? So, but mainly if you have dry hair, it doesn't matter your environment, your health, like how much water you're drinking, how healthy your diet is, your hair will break, right? Like if your hair is dry, it'll snap off, it'll break. It's almost like having spaghetti, right? Like having spaghetti, like dry spaghetti is the cooked one. Cooked one, when you a while longer for the cooked spaghetti to break up, right? So our hair works exactly the same way, right? Okay, so let me just look at my agenda to make sure that I've covered everything. So if you ladies have any other question, or just in case I'm not clear, let me know, because usually I have a script, but I just wanted to go use an outline. Okay, so I've explained the differences between dry hair and breakage, between breakage and shedding, and how dry hair contributes to breakage. And I explained how breakage and shedding happens and why you have breakage and shedding and what to do about breakage and shedding. So I talked about the what, how, and why. Okay, so do you ladies have any question for me before I wrap up this webinar? Okay, so before I do that though, I wanted to let you ladies know about my premium program. So I actually launched it first in December 2016, but I'm reopening the doors this week. So you're gonna get an email link from me tonight or latest tomorrow morning, because I'm just doing some finishing touches to the website. So it's called Moisture Retention Blueprint, because after this challenge ends next week, so March 30th, we have about 8 days left. But obviously, we will need to maintain that of the moisture retention habit, pretty much, right? So the course Moisture Retention Blueprint, and when I send out the link, it talks about it, and I want to come on here on Saturday or Sunday evening, yeah. And I also plan to have a like a wrap up live workshop, right? So that's probably gonna be next week, right? So I haven't decided on the day yet, but it probably won't be on a Thursday, because I have to do another live session on a different page. But yeah, so two main live workshops coming up. One coming up for sure this Sunday, and the other one sometime next week. I can't remember the date yet, but yeah. So for so those premium program, it's not for everybody. Obviously, it's only for ladies who are ready to invest in the health of their hair. So rather than spending more money on products, on braids that maybe you spend $200 on, or weaves that maybe you spend $400 on, but by the time you take everything out, you've lost your edges, or you've lost chunks of hair, or your hair just isn't improving despite the amount of money you spent in the last year or so, right? So this is a program only for ladies who are ready to invest in the health of their hair. Just get it over with, so moving forward they know what to do. And also for ladies who are interested in working closely with me. So I actually have 3 tiers to this program, so depending on your budget, depending on what you're looking for, right? So the one tier is just a la carte, so just the course, and then the other tier will be the course and the workbook, and then a weekly live session like this, where you can ask questions and then watch the replay just in case you couldn't join me live. And then the other tier is the VIP, whereby you work with me one-on-one, and then I actually look at your hair, and then I will personally give you my recommended regimen, right? So one-on-one consultation with me. Okay, so that's pretty much it for today's webinar. So if you ladies have any other questions, so just type it in the comment section so I can get to it. But I just wanted to see if anybody asks me a question. When anybody asks me a question during this webinar. Okay, so I think it's just some comments that I received so far. Okay, so I believe Bria Bro asked me a question: are you going to do a live lens check at the end of the challenge? Yeah, so probably live lens check. Yeah, so I'll probably do it. So next week, which is gonna be like probably the grand finale, or maybe the semi-grand finale, because I'm actually moving to a different city next weekend. But I actually didn't do blend check before the challenge, because obviously the challenge is mainly about moisture retention. So because I want to have another challenge mainly about hair growth. So but I am gonna do, because I actually did like a mini blend check this morning, because I cut my hair in June, and then I did 2 more trims. So I did like 3 major trims last year, so I lost a lot of hair, but it looks like my hair is growing back. But yeah, I guess I can do one next week. I can't remember the date yet that I'm supposed to do this final challenge, final webinar, but I'll probably do another one in April as well, because I want to maintain like a weekly live session. I'm just not sure how I can balance that with my premium program that's coming up. Okay, so Bria Bro asks, what are the price ranges for the program? So they actually range from I believe $97 to maybe 197, right? So depending on the tier. Or next Thursday, yeah. So next Thursday, I'm supposed to do a live session on a different group, right, to a different audience. So I'm not sure if I can balance both. So that's why I wanna do it maybe on a weekend, right? But you ladies are on my email list, so you're gonna be getting the email about the exact date, and also you're gonna be getting a lot more emails from me in the next few days because I'm launching the course, and so I need to send out a lot of reminders and also information and details about the course, why you should invest in it, and who it's for, and why you should get the program now rather than wait till the next time when I reopen it, which I'm not really sure when I'm gonna reopen it. So to answer your question, Bia bro, so the price ranges anywhere from $97 to $197, which is pretty much the price of of a hair service, right? So if you're gonna go get braids done, for example, in Edmonton or in Toronto, Canada, getting braids done, it ranges anywhere from so if it's a salon, right, it ranges anywhere from 150 to about $250 US, right? So US or Canadian, I would say. So it's way cheaper than like a hair braiding session, but this is something that you're gonna learn, and it lasts longer than your braids, right? Which might be 2 months or 3 months, because once you learn something, it stays with you forever. And for me, like, I don't think there's anything as wasted knowledge, right? Because you can learn something, but it'll always come useful for you. And yeah, so this is why on Sunday, so Sunday evening, I'm gonna come back on here to do to go over the program, so what you're gonna be getting, and so the who, what, why, where, and how of the program. But yeah, but you're gonna be getting links to the page, to the sales page, later on tonight or tomorrow morning, and I'm gonna be having some offers as well, right? So yeah, so if you ladies don't have any other question, and I guess I'll see you on Sunday evening when I come back on here to do my a live session, and it's actually gonna be me behind stage, right? Because usually I just do PowerPoint, right? Because I have PowerPoint presentation prepared for you guys, where I'll probably just go over what we've talked about in the past 3 weeks, and then talk more about the course. Okay, so thank you ladies for joining me live, but for those that are gonna be watching on the replay, thank you for watching the replay, and I'll see you in your inbox in the next few hours, and I'll see you live on Sunday evening, and probably at 8 p.m. Eastern time. All right, so see you ladies soon, and take care. Bye bye.